knows how to spell anyway, so nobody will know if you're right or not.
Exactly. I mean, I don't know. I still have to, if I'm typing an email, like it's semi-serious, or if I'm like serious about it, it's got to be fucking super tight, man. Super joint ritual.
We're doing it.
Love that. I love that band.
If you're right or not.
All right.
Did I do that?
Hi guys, we're live randomly just here. So yeah, there's nobody here except us right now, but they'll trickle in. I hope.
On my screen. Oh, never mind. We're good.
Okay. Looks like we're live. Hi everybody. Look, it's Lindsay. She's here. We were supposed to be live a while ago, but you know, retrograde everything, right?
Odin, goats, dilemmas. There's just so much going on.
And there's N's missing from words now.
Ends just disappear magically.
Jim's gone. Like, look, he's not. And he's got two Zoom calls open. This is gonna be like free, fun thing, free flowing. Everybody can just come hang out. So there's gonna be special guests dropping by. Yay, that's gonna be fun. And really random because, yep, we'll see. It'll be good.
Ooh, surprise guests.
Surprise. Well, there's just friends. Yeah, friends of the show. You know, we all love them. So how's your week going? You've been busy all week.
I've been super busy all week. I don't know, like it's funny, I just do this to myself. I'm like, I'm gonna do more things now and more things and then now more things, and like, but I love them all. And so they're all fun. And now my new obsession is creating jewelry. So I'm sad because this is the only one I have left to show, but I'm happy because this is the only one I have left to show. So Beautiful. I'm finding stones, I'm tumbling them, and then I am drilling them and hanging them from beautiful chains that I have gotten, and then adding, the clasps and everything you need to like wear it. And so I'm making it from like start to finish. And I mean, aside from like the chain itself, and people are buying them, and it's awesome because I get to not only put in all this like good energy while I'm creating it, but I also then add a blessing. And so it comes with all this like super powerful energy in addition to what the stone itself already carries. So like this one right here is red aventurine, and it's very good for upping your sort of energy and your motivation, so you could be more like me and do a billion things at once.
I need some of that.
Yeah, and I just had this really awesome one. Ooh, what's that?
Jim, close the window, buddy.
Tiger's eye.
Oh, dude, you should shine that up.
It's I just got my tumbling media like last week. It's got a 4 in it naturally. It's
rad.
Like an inclusion, and it's like my address also. So
rad, dude. I
cut it. And
Snake Jones just showed up, and I just sold Snake Jones my first Tiger's Eye necklace.
Oh yeah, awesome.
So you're
let's make another deal, Lindsay. Let's make another deal. I'm like looking at you up here.
I want to get into lapidary. I just bought a bunch of
right now on the air.
Uncut
rad
opals, and I was gonna buy some abrasive wheels and like the thing. It's like it's called a Cab King, and it's like
right here.
You have one?
Actually, no, I probably don't have what you're talking about. I have like a little kind of like a Dremel with a bunch of attachments that I can like.
This is home of Dremel right here. My hometown, guys.
I have all these little attachments and shit.
Very cool.
So I tumble them, and then I can also like shape them and whatever, do stuff to them.
I don't know if you can see, but I got
Dremel's a Wisconsin.
Ooh, is that Moonstone?
Dremel's my hometown, guys. Seriously.
Dremel's your hometown?
Yeah, it's literally right up the street.
And that's the Dremel of Dremel?
Yeah.
Wow.
Little Dremel tools.
Yep. That's cool.
Mm-hmm. It's really random and stupid. And they've been gone for a while and outsourced to Ireland or China or something, or Scotland.
Where are you getting your opals, Jim?
I just got a bunch off of
don't say it.
Amazon.
Luthers.
But like, I think they're junk. Like after I've been looking into it, like they're Ethiopian, and like if you put them in water, they turn like clear. If they're like they're aqueous or something, they will absorb water. But you can smoke them by like.
No, don't even do that. I know about the terpene balls. Don't even do that.
You put wrap it in newspaper and then light the newspaper, and it burns and it plugs those little pores. So then it'll turn like smoky colored, but it won't acquiesce, or I forget the word, where it sucks in water. Oh. You won't do that anymore if you do that, if you smoke it.
But, see, there's this woman who I love, and she makes the best jewelry. She gets these like really good stones that I have these earrings that are a geode just cut in half, and one half's on one ear and the other half's on the other ear. So they're really cool. And then she does stuff like that. And I was talking to her about it once at her little like street fair thing. And she was saying that like the vast majority of stones that people are buying and selling are just utter crap, and they're not even real. They're not what they say they are. And like very few people actually know what they're even talking about. And even less people have access to like the real thing. And she like has the inroads to like the best stones and stuff. Nice. So clearly I have no idea of what I'm like, Lindsey? Yeah.
I want to order some organite, or like I need, do you make like pendants or whatever?
Yeah, let me show you.
Because mine, I got like a Tesla clone mine. I don't feel anything from it, but I have shungite that's legit, and I can feel it.
I'll tell you, I don't pretend that organite stops EMF radiation.
I don't
know if it does or not. I've never tested it. I don't think it does. But what this does do is accumulate and hold positive spiritual energy and intention. And so again, when I'm making it, I'm putting that into it, and then each piece has a blessing that I put into it as well, and then you get to keep that like going in your world.
That, see, I use selenite for that too.
I do like plaques, so they're like a little bit bigger like this.
That's wait, so you do what are those called again? I'm sorry.
I just call them plaques because you can like put them up and hang them on your wall or hang them in your window, and they're just kind of like art or whatever. And then I also do, and some of them are a lot bigger than that. Like here's a huge one. This one's so dense with energy. So they're a little bit bigger, and they all have different plant matter, homemade paper, organic paper, different metals, different crystals. So they all have their own like energetic properties as well, which I talk about on the site, and I can, Can
I interrupt you really quick and ask?
And then I also make like really quickly. I'll just show you a few more.
Do you make them with the Tesla coils or no?
Pendants as well. I don't do any coils in mine because they're very thin.
That's what I want. I need a pendant so I can wear it, kind of thing. Or do you think that's not good? What do you recommend?
No, that's what I wear. I have earrings that I wear, and I wear pendants, and depending on my day, like I'll wear either some of my crystal and stone stuff or some of my pendants or whatever. But yeah, I would love to.
What is your? Wait a minute. Let me ask. Okay, what's your take on shungite? What do you think?
Shungite, so they, as far as I understand, they've tested shungite, and they can see that again, it doesn't have like an EMF protection property to it. Right. Like, and if it does, it's right where it is and not around it, right? So, but they have tested it, and it does structure water.
Oh yeah.
And so like I put it in my water, and I have structured
Interesting.
water.
I was gonna ask you. Okay,
sit down, buddy.
I looked into all that, and I was fascinated. I love the just all of it seems like all right, the Carillion mine or whatever and all that stuff. So I got some of it, and I got raw. It was like raw polished, whatever. It's a big chunk, it's like a $30 chunk, whatever. It's a little bit, but ever since I got this, like I have selenite, like big wands and shit. But this thing, I can, if I can't sleep, like if I'm just like tired and wired, mind racing, I can hold this, like literally I just hold it in my hand, just put it near here or here, and it vibrates, and it's crazy. It's like it just vibrates like peace. It's crazy. It's like this thing is like struck with a tuning for, I don't know who or what is going on, but I want more of this.
It's the crystal itself. Like the crystals are fucking crazy, dude. So
awesome.
Like, have you ever just held two quartz crystals and found their point where they're like magnets of positive and negative, and they like repel each other and shit? Yeah.
Oh, you're serious?
You can feel it. Yeah.
It's superconductor, man.
I only have one near me, but yeah, you can fucking, so like to pretend like crystals don't have electromagnetic properties is insane. They absolutely do. And then I really love, Ben and Christy, Benjamin Balderson and Christy.
Yeah.
Balderson. They were talking. We did a show on crystals with them and a couple other people, like as a panel discussion. And I loved. What's that?
Quartz crystals.
Oh, rad! Oh my God. There's so many.
Yeah, I was gonna drill.
Awesome.
I was gonna mount drill holes in a piece of wood, and then stick them into the holes so that it's like frost on a.
Dude.
Make like meditation amplifiers.
Yeah, you should do it in like the what is it? The pattern of life, the circle of life. No, that's not what it's called.
Oh wow, yeah.
You know what I'm talking about? Yeah, that pattern.
Oh, the Fibonacci.
So like.
Yeah, like the circle of life.
Yeah.
Mandorla's in it.
Mandorlas.
So you kind of have to twist them around sometimes to find like where there's a negative and a positive to like find the field, but you can feel it. Anyway, I loved Christy's take, and Christy on that episode was saying, you know, because they're like crystal experts, both of them. Ben more so, and Christy just nearly right behind him. You know, she's rad, and so she was saying the best thing, because people are like, well, which crystal should I get and what should I do? And she's like, you can read all about it. You can like take other people's word for it. But the best thing you can do is what you're talking about, Barcy, which is to take it and just like put it around your body and just feel what the change might be and like hold it for a while and just like try to, you know, connect with it. And because everybody's going to have their own like crystal vibration. So you gotta just follow your sort of heart. And that's what I teach too when I'm teaching, like, you know, people are like, well, how do I set up my altar? Wow. How do I like collect my stones or whatever? And I'm like, you just have to fucking let them come to you and like find them. You can't, I think if you go and you're like seeking them, you could still find them and they could be rad. But if it's not just like kind of falling together for you, you're probably gonna end up with some shit that doesn't really work for you.
Right. This worked out perfect. Because I knew what I wanted, kind of thing, and I was just like, this is what I'm getting, and that's it.
Well, yeah, and like the timing was right and whatever. I'm just saying, like, to sit down and be like, okay, today I'm going to find like 10 different crystals, and they're going to be this one, this one, and this one. Like, I think that might not work out as good. That with tourmaline, kind of
or I think it was by tourmaline, like a it wasn't an EMF thing. I wasn't like looking for that, but I was like, okay, if I can just, that looks cool, and it was like in a bullet kind of, you know, like it was rad,
and it called to you.
It did, and I ordered it, and I ended up giving it to my ex-wife. I randomly ran into her after like an open mic in Milwaukee. I was like, just hanging out, and I was like, "Here, you should have this, and it's awesome." And she was like, "Oh, so
the Snake here?"
Yeah, I'm here.
Yeah. Oh, hey, Snake.
It's just quietly hanging out in the corner.
Yeah, I've personally seen Ben and Christie's crystal collection.
Me too.
I helped them pack it and move it. It was wow.
Well, since he's on the spot now, I'm gonna call it out. All right, Ben, call me again because
This is I can tell. It's very subtle, but it's like a little slip spot. Where they repel.
Isn't that wild? So like, why didn't we do that as kids in a classroom? Like,
so
they don't fucking
because it's hidden science.
So
it's hidden science. It's torsion.
Go get your dab. Go get your dab rig, Jim. Go get your quartz dab piece, and I'll get mine, and we'll see what we can do over. No, seriously, I wonder if those are charged at all. Jim, they're not. They can't be, right?
Well, crystal glass is still crystal, but
yeah, it's already.
I don't know if it's the same as natural formed.
No, it's
beautiful crystal. These are all kind of junky ones.
One of my favorite pictures was when I was at Ben and Christy's house, and Ben just like poured all of these loose gemstones into my hand. So I got this like handful of precious gems, and I'm like holding them like this is fucking amazing. But actually, every single stone I'm about to show you comes from Ben. So this is my oh my fucking god. You know what I'm talking about.
Are we on live?
Yeah.
Yay.
Live, dude.
What's the one? Moldavite. This is my Moldavite from Ben.
Wow. Beautiful.
This is my
let's get some background music for you.
Yeah. This is my oh my god. I am so brain dead today. I cannot just remember. I can't remember. It's obviously quartz, and then the gray is I can't remember the name of it. It's hella dense and really cool. And then I've got my two little boji stones, and I have a male and a female, and they are the same. Like, when I put them together this way, they like it. When I put them together the other way. They like
what are they?
Repel each other.
Yeah.
What are those?
They're called boji stones.
What is a boji stone?
I have no idea, dude. I just was like, I need those because you know he has like 70 billion, so you just get to sit there and like pick up different crystals and play with them. And I was like, these want to live with me.
Are they formed that way?
I guess so. Yeah,
Yeah,
you can
look
tell
like they
there's
have
like little circles
round
in the middle.
spots on them.
Yeah, and they're like slightly raised at that point.
Yeah, looks like they're made, or maybe it's like a.
I think they're natural, but I don't know. Isn't that weird?
Have you ever seen the lightning when it goes into the sand and makes those like kind of it like solidifies the sand? Lightning when it melts it and it makes these like really cool little stalactites.
No. That's rad. No, I have not seen that. No,
A friend of mine has a bunch of those.
That's rad. I want to see those. No, but I was really tripped out one year when I came outside in the morning in Washington and lived there my whole life basically and never seen this. So I came out and the mud had like grown and it had like flowered into these crystalline like structures. And I was like, what the fuck is happening? And I like took all these pictures of them. And I guess in some places where the like dirt content has a high amount of something, I don't know, arsenic, like I don't even fucking know. It like makes these columns of ice that like grow out of the ground when it gets cold enough. The ground has to be wet enough and it has to have a certain chemical in it. And it just like grows into these like spouting ice like sculptures. They're only like yay big, you know, they're not like huge, but they're fucking weird.
That's awesome.
Wait, where was this? This is in Washington?
I was in Washington. I guess it happens in Washington, but I lived there my whole life and that was the first time I saw it and it was like blowing my mind. I have pictures of it somewhere. I've never seen it happen any other time or place.
Whereabouts in Washington, if you don't mind? Like, is there a certain...
It was in the foothills of Western Washington. It was up in it's called Granite Falls. If anybody wants to go look at it, but it was right on the river too. Like my house was on a river.
Aaron Polda, go there. He's probably already been there. He probably sent me photos from there, and I don't even know. And he's like, there's an abandoned school from 1936 that nobody went back to, and it's haunted as hell, and I'm sleeping there this weekend and investigating it. Come hang out with me.
There are hella abandoned shits all
I know.
there.
He sends me crazy photos. I'm like, what are you doing, dude? I love you. Come hang out. And like, we hadn't talked to each other for a couple of years, and he shows up in the chat like a couple of weeks ago. I'm like, I love you so much more, dude, you know? Like, you choose to drop like in the chat, like, dude, you're like one of my best friends, you know what I mean?
Snake, you should tumble all those.
These are from Shelter Cove when we were evacuated up in California. Ben and Christy.
I have rocks exactly like that.
That beach is amazing. These are Jasper that were all over his Redding farm.
Jasper.
Yeah, it's like
Redding,
volcanic rocks everywhere. And this is just from collecting. Some bones, driftwood, lots and lots of feathers.
That's a beautiful specimen box too.
Yeah.
Yeah. Found this big old beetle.
Dude.
Awesome.
I have beetles on my back tattoo.
Do you?
Yeah.
Nice.
Not really. They're just so I have a giant magnolia tree that covers like most of my back, and magnolia trees predate the evolution of the bee. And so they are and have been, yeah. And so they were pollinated by beetles instead of bees. And so I have beetles all over my magnolia tree tattoo.
That's right. Wow. When did you get your work? You got your work done early too, huh?
That one was 2000. It was kind of late actually.
Really?
It was like 2014.
Damn.
I think.
I haven't had a tattoo since like 2013, 14. But that was like 10.
I think I'm done now because I no longer have the ability to disassociate really easily, and so I don't want any more tattoos.
Wait a minute, you mean personality wise, like?
No, like.
You mean when you're getting it done?
I just mean I have CPTSD, and that was pre CPTSD treatment, and so I did EMDR treatment for my CPTSD.
Do you care to share? Because I don't. I'm literally going. What is talking about? And
CPTSD. Okay, PTSD is post-traumatic stress syndrome, as most people know, and CPTSD is, I think it's complex or complicated or something.
Okay.
Convoluted. I don't know. It's like worse PTSD,
okay.
I guess. So it's the idea is like you have PTSD, and usually most people have it from like one situation or event or a series of events that were close together. And CPTSD is when throughout your life you have like continuous trauma that is making it worse and worse and worse and worse. So it's like compounded. Maybe it's compound PTSD. Yeah, it's really fucked up. So my whole life I was really good at disassociating. I didn't know that. And disassociation is not it can be for some people like multiple personalities, but that's a totally different disorder. It's really just disassociation is when you like kind of leave your body a bit so that you don't have to deal with what's happening. And so I didn't even know I did that my whole life until I was diagnosed until I had my first because flashbacks normally, just so everyone knows, are not really like the movies where people like fucking start freaking out and shooting because they think they're in Vietnam again. They're much more often like someone just kind of dazing out and looking away and like not really being able to pay close attention, or like maybe they like suddenly have to get up and leave and cry somewhere and they don't even know why or something. Like that's way more often what a flashback is like.
Intense
so I had flashbacks
reverie
all the time and didn't know it. And then I started having flashbacks that were a lot more intense, where I would actually like run somewhere or like not remember like 5 minutes at a time here and there, or like, you know, really fucking freak out in an instant because like someone knocked on my door one day and I like broke down screaming and like hid under my covers crying for like 3 hours. And I was like, what the fuck is wrong with me? Like, what the hell just happened? And I went, you know, my doctor's like, yeah, that's not normal. Like, you have PTSD and we're going to figure this out. So I went and I finally got therapy, and I was lucky because I had already undergone psychotherapy before, because I wanted to stop like dating men who abused me, and I didn't know why I couldn't. Like, every guy I found was just an abusive piece of shit, and so I went to therapy, and she was like, oh well, yeah, you have all these like really really bad emotional patterns and you have to like solve them and stuff. And that was its own trip. But because I had already undergone that type of therapy, just by chance, I had a really fast-tracked PTSD therapeutic treatment, because usually you have to go through like a year or two of like psychotherapeutic talk therapy before you can do EMDR successfully.
That's super tedious.
Very tedious. And it's a lot of like shitty work where you have to like actually dig down into your bullshit and like deal with it and hug it into dust, is how I like to describe it. But luckily EMDR worked really well for me, and I don't have flashbacks anymore. And so the upside is I don't have flashbacks, and I'm even more emotionally healthy than I was. And the downside is that I can't do things like get tattoos really easily, because now I'm like in my body the whole time. Yeah.
You can't dip out. Yeah. Oh,
and it's like shit. I was there. It's not like people couldn't like talk to me and I couldn't like talk back to them. I just like was like, it was very easy for me to not care at all, like that my skin was bleeding and whatever.
I mean, everybody else, I have I got a lot of shit done. I would go into like the normal tattoo trance kind of thing, where it's like it's like a hypnotic and the buzzing. But then I mean, when I'm skinny, so like when I got my chest and all this done, up here, like it was rattling against my like
sternum.
It was awful. Like I couldn't. This was like I couldn't stop twitching. I had to take breaks every 15 minutes, and I had already had both my shins done with huge, like
shins hurt.
That wasn't shit.
That wasn't
I have
shit,
in here. You know what I'm saying? I have in here. I have. No, this is next level. And then when it got towards like my belly button, it was even more like just stupid ticklish. If you're like, it was the worst. And he was like, "What is wrong with you?" And I was like, "I don't know."
You're like, every other time has been normal, I swear.
Like, yeah, he knew he'd done me, and what up, Mario? But I remember having to go actually lie down on the bathroom floor and take my fucking shirt, like I with no shirt on, and I was like, I don't care if it's cold. It's all fine.
Oh God!
In this filthy Milwaukee, like, it's like right above the
That's how
globe,
you got COVID.
I never had it. Negative.
That's how the world got it.
No. How did you not know? Nobody has COVID. It's bullshit.
It wasn't from a bat market.
I had that. What was it? Epiphany today. Sitting, I was like, yeah, this isn't real. I lost taste and smell for a couple days. No, I know. I just wanted to be like, I don't buy any of this at all. Like, because it was like a total mind rape going on for me. Because I was like, no, I don't just lose my smell and my taste. And then I got hit with some kind of bug, right? And then I'm like, okay, I feel this. So I'm like processing this shit in my brain and trying to like, well, this is stupid. Like, this isn't, I was like, what am I comparing this to? I need to stop comparing shit. Like, just stop. Kind of just detach. I don't know. That's the best way I can put it. And then I kind of just wasn't dwelling on it and not thinking about it at all. And no joke, like the fourth day, I woke up and I was like, I can smell? Holy shit. And everything just kind of slowly came back, and that was it. And then it's like, what the hell was that? Like, that was just really.
But okay, every time I've had a flu in my life, I didn't smell or taste. Is that not what happens to everyone?
I see. I wonder if it's like a memory thing, because I could taste.
People.
Yeah, I know exactly what you're saying. It's like we all have different levels of sense, obviously, and what we can take in. But I think it's like I remember, like, we're nauseous and you're puking. You have the flu, right? If you get unlucky and you don't puke when you have the flu, that sucks, because you just want to puke a lot of the time, unless you just, you know what I mean. But because I've had that happen a couple times. But I think it's when you do, because now I'm getting like senses back, and it's triggering parts of my brain. Unpleasant nostalgia of flu. But yeah, I can. Now I can taste the flu. Thanks, Dave. Don't blame you, Lindsay. But hi. That was really silly and stupid and random. My brain isn't working anymore, apparently.
Well, I always have lost my sense of smell, my sense of taste when I get really, really sick, whether it's like a really bad head cold or a flu. And so maybe I'm a weirdo, but I do think that I had what they're calling COVID really, really early on, at like the end of November, because it was during Thanksgiving last year, so 2019. And it fucking like ripped me apart. It was brutal. It's fine. I've not been that sick since I was very, very young. I had super high fever for days. I never puked. I never had any kind of intestinal anything. It was all like head shit and lung shit and like severe body aches. Not just body aches, but like my fucking bones hurt. Like inside my bones, like someone was digging around in them. And so I was like, whatever this is insane, because I'm pretty relatively healthy, like in soul, heart, mind, and body. And I don't get sick, really. When I'm sick, it's like I'm having a hormonal issue because I have a thyroid disorder. I'm not actually like sick, Right. So I'll have days where I'm like, I don't feel good, I'm like sick, but I'm not like, I haven't like caught something or have something like this. It never happens. And I got like wiped out. So I'm not of the opinion that there's nothing happening. I just don't know what it is. And it's very clearly not deadly.
It's not a pandemic.
It's not a pandemic.
Anybody remember the woodpecker signal from the 60s, 70s?
No.
Oh, yeah.
That Russia apparently got hit a town with, and a rash of people committed suicide.
Oh.
Have you looked up in the sky lately? Have you seen
the
stuff they're spraying on us? You know what's in our food and the chemicals?
But why did this hit me and none of the other? They've been chemtrailing since 1999 or something, Like, why?
Well, they put it in at the time.
They just activated it with,
right? If this is a giant
5G,
failure,
perhaps.
Yeah.
That's bullshit. No, that's too easy.
We are living in a toxic soup.
That's some Q shit. That 5G is some Q entry level nonsense.
They actually used 5G in the Chinese Olympics. They put up 5G and they can use that microwave to repel pigs. They actually like
active.
They can use. They can use the 5G.
Yeah.
They used it like on people in England. There were rioters, and it makes you feel like you get like kind of hot inside your head, and you get a headache, and then you can't like think right. You kind of stammer.
Yep.
And
it's like
it's a microwave.
It's what Bigfoot's been using for years to keep people away from. I'm not even joking either. Like people who describe Bigfoot areas and like going into them describe that exact same shit. Like literally, they're like, I felt sudden sense of dread. I was hot and sweaty, and like I just wanted to turn around and run away. And that's exactly what those systems do. It's like the same technology.
Guess who's here? Recluse is here, guys. And you guys probably can't see that on the feed, but he's here.
What's up, guys?
Yeah. What's up, buddy?
Howdy.
Host of The Farm. Great podcast.
There you go.
Thank you.
I'm Lindsay.
It's nice to meet you, Lindsay.
It's nice to meet you too.
He's a mystery.
I would like to add one more thing though. That
or is this the first time we've shared a podcast?
Mazars. You blasting people, making them sick. A Mazar. You make it out of a microwave. It's just a energy weapon.
Is it like a tube with a giant crystal in it?
Well,
no, you're talking about an actual like high level energy weapon.
It's your magnet
on the back of a truck.
Yeah, I have a friend who had a fucking thing on her truck, and I was like, yeah, I mean, whatever.
That's the Medusa,
but like,
right?
it fucking it like cleared up the sky everywhere we went. The sky cleared of chemtrails. And I was like, holy shit, what is this?
Oh, that's the Organite tube.
It was Organite, but it also had like a giant like crystal fucking like thick ass like pyramid or something in it. Yeah. And Organite. She makes Organite. And so like that was in there too. But yeah, it was like directed up like on her car, like mounted. And I was like, she's such a badass. I fucking miss her. What's up, Jenny B?
Cloudbusters.
Yeah, and it worked. And you're absolutely right. The sky, especially like around here at least, in the past week, you know, in preparation for this Arctic blast or whatever the fuck, has been just awful. Toxic soup, and just like
dark winter.
They'll like come lay it down in all these layers like we always see, and then like it starts to fucking spread across the sky, and then they hit it with whatever fucking beam that makes it like ripple in that tight little fucking pattern or whatever. And now it's like gonna be -3 and shit.
Oh, we've been on, dude.
So fucking stupid.
It's been since last I had no internet
to
stream last Saturday or whenever that was, and it's just that was the first night we had like sub-zero, and it's been sub-zero since then. Today was a high of 15. It's the warmest it's been in like a week and a half. It's been 0 to -25 like for the last week and a half.
Jesus.
There's 20 inches of snow out there right now. That like it's
never gonna
insane.
go away.
It sucks. It's awful. And we haven't had a winter like this in 5 years. Feels like. Yeah, it's really bad. But I wanted to steer it towards more Bigfoot talk or more Sasquatch or Janu.
What's Janu?
Steve Bachman. His story is crazy. I know you know some of this, Recluse, right? Come on. Did you read? I just got like where the footprints end, the Cutchin book, the two of them.
No, I'm not familiar with his work.
Why is Cutchin familiar? I must be familiar with Cutchin from Mysterious Universe.
I know I'm friends with him on Facebook, but I'm not super familiar with his research, though.
Yeah, he's
Josiah or something like that. Joshua Cutchin.
Joshua Cutchin. Yeah, that's him. I don't know. I just got him. I've been meaning to check him out, and yeah, I think that's fascinating. But I mean, well, we're not going to talk about that here, Recluse. We'll talk about that another time. Because that ties into all of it too. You know what I mean? If we like into a lot of these things, like what we're being super vague about, or I am at least.
What?
I actually live in Bigfoot country up here, and we had some forest fires a couple of years ago up in the mountains where they live supposedly, and it smoked out the whole valley, and there were sightings down very close to where I'm at, like
wow,
25 miles away.
Well, that's a lot of evidence. If people already saw them in one location, that location burned, and then everyone saw them in the location that wasn't burning.
Yeah,
but they're like light beams, so why wouldn't they be able to just like? Well, if the trees are all burning, no, they live like there's, like I don't want to like. Steve Bachman's got the craziest story. If you can get him on your show, he's like, I don't know. He
I
built.
Don't know who that is.
Not a lot of people do. He built this. He's working with Dr. Matt Johnson in Oregon, Southern Oregon. He does a Southern Oregon habitation area like Soya and something. He's got names for it where these beings live, and he needed to bring some over, and like 25,000 of them from their planet or some shit. It's the wildest story.
Wow.
But this Steve Bachman built a Unity device an over Unity device or something.
Machine.
Yeah, that's it. He built that.
I'm looking at a site now.
There you go. Then you're doing way better. You want to take over? No. So he goes out there. I don't. It's insane. You want to read some of it?
People are saying that it's demonic. Of course they would say that.
Fucking retards.
They're descendants of the Nephilim.
Oh yeah, this is a great deception.
So yeah, I don't know
because it's super fascinating. Okay, so his experience though, he went out there and Dr. Johnson or whatever his name is, I'm probably wrong with the name, Matthew. I don't know. It's a really common name, where he's like, dude, stay still. Something like that, like stay still, like, and he kept saying that to dude, and he's military, so he knew kind of like a Navy SEAL, stay still, kind of like they're going to violate your person when you come up here, so fair warning type shit. Like, and he said like his first experience, like when he's lying down cot or whatever to go to bed, the first night in Oregon or whatever, he said that he could feel his guts, like hands in his guts moving his this makes me fucking like, dude,
this is like a shamanic
Thank you.
experience.
Thank you.
And an alien experience, and like every time anyone is ever interacting with an interdimensional creature.
Yeah.
Like, why do they all do that?
He said
it's supposed to like be an upgrade.
Right. Well, he's got stories of upgrades, like where they just like, and he's the most not believing in anything type dude. You know what I mean? Like he had to be rocked. Like his shit just had to be paradigm.
Well, you have to go through a trauma to have a spiritual experience.
I don't necessarily know that it's got to. It has to.
Enlightening experience.
I mean, yeah,
that's a form of trauma.
Like, he believed it almost before he went there, right? Like he only listened. He said he watched Sasquatch videos on YouTube in 2015 or some shit. And the only 3 people, there's tons of people doing. He named these 3 people. Like one's a doctor that he went out there with, another one's someone else I hadn't heard of, and the other one's the Patterson Gimlin guy. So I'm like, okay, so you kind of know what you're talking about. You know your research, and you know who you vibe with and who you kind of trust. But you trust this one dude who's got the most. I need to bring 25,000 over, and your Unity machine was going to save them and bring them over, which it ends up doing. Saves the Janu. Am I pronouncing it right?
Oh, maybe I have heard of this. I have a friend who's very, very into Sasquatch, so she probably told me about it. I know that like if you just look at like the, you take a sort of like scientific approach to it, and you look at the vast majority of reports, then the vast majority of reports at least seem to agree that these things can cloak themselves at will, like disappear.
Yeah.
That they can suddenly leap incredible distances, despite that they're huge, like unwieldy creatures. Somehow they like have that. And so there is something at least like otherworldly or like paranormal or, very advanced or something about them. But it's so interesting because I had this awesome custodial technician, and that's what we call our janitors. And so when I was a teacher, I like don't ever become friends with other teachers, but I always become friends with the janitors. And so like this janitor though was like a fucking badass, and her name's Pearl Quigley. No, it's not Pearl Quigley. I don't fucking remember her last name. I have her book somewhere, but anyway,
Tragedy and Hope. Sorry, go ahead.
She is an author of this Bigfoot book, and some motherfuckers who are bigger than her, because she's very unknown, but some people like stole her research because basically she moved out to the area we were in to study the Bigfoot and develop her theories. And so she went around testing all of the sites where people were reporting Bigfoot, and the water that was nearby, and the stones that were nearby, and the soil content, and all of the shit. She was having it analyzed. She was trying to figure out what is the reason that they're in this location and not everywhere. And the thing that was connected to all of the sites was manganese. And manganese in high doses. And apparently there's animals in the universe, like in our world, who we know, like actual science admits that it's true, that use manganese to cloak themselves. So she's like,
that's prion shit, right? Is it prion related type shit?
No, I don't know. I don't think so. But she was talking about how if other animals can do it, why can't this animal do it? And so it's not that Sasquatch is paranormal at all. It's that Sasquatch just has very unique characteristics, and so that comes from his environment. And I was like, dude, you're such a fucking awesome. This is my janitor
What
out
about
of school.
the skunk ape though? Come on. Oh, yeah, that is badass. That's
She's
great. And
cool.
that's
I wish I could remember her last name.
a great research technique. Like that sounds like
I know, like she's so thorough. And then these motherfuckers who are bigger, I don't know which one, so I'm not gonna talk shit, just like took it and just like ran with it and didn't give her any credit. And I'm like, what a sorry piece of shit you have to be. By the way, some motherfucker stole one of my
That's pretty much
videos
what they
recently.
always do, actually. They bleach off of other researchers who have less credit or less fan base than they do, and then claim it as their own.
Somebody just took my fucking my most recent Dr. Thomas Cowan episode and just took it and just like they're not saying it's their episode. They're just like using giant portions of it and not even mentioning me. And I'm like, you are a piece of shit. I don't need to like have big, huge ego about what I do, but you could at least just be like, by the way, this is from Rogue Ways.
Yeah.
The end, then move on with your shit.
How do you not do that?
I'm so mad.
Like
plagiarism.
Oh, it's Pearl Prahota is her name.
Mark that, y'all.
Pearl Prahota, Prihota. That's my
You want to spell that one more time?
Prihota. I asked her to be on Rogue Ways and she was like, fuck
Chump.
No. Like, I would never do that. She's she doesn't want attention.
You sound like a real asshole. What's her last name again?
Prahota.
That's how memorable you are.
I'm sorry, Pearl. Sorry. But her book is called Man Otang, Bigfoot, Myth or Reality.
Man Otang.
And
Man Otang?
It's one of the books I lost. Yeah, Man Otang, like instead of a
That's a great name.
Here, I'm gonna throw this link to her book in the chat in case anybody
far out, dude.
Yeah.
I don't know if you guys were paying attention,
I'm
but
about to write somebody tomorrow.
What's his name? From Missing 411. Does all the
David Politis.
Thank you. He pretty much came to the conclusion. He calls them wild men that have been doing a lot of the kidnappings and all that stuff. Basically, Bigfoot.
Because the kids will say it. They're like, yeah, the big bear man like took me to the cave. And you're like, well, what? It's not like they just fucking make shit up. Kids are very inventive, but it's not like they are usually making shit up. They're usually, especially in like a trauma, they're like telling you what happened.
So what Bachman said, though, is that they're light beings. He went to the top of this thing where the main Zorth, that's the name of the main dude. Zorth is the main Janu.
Has to be.
Yeah.
Had to be Zorth.
Zorth, tell Steve Bachman to go up to the Council of 12, and he said they're look in front of you, like they're speaking telepathy. They couldn't see him, like they had no visual. They only saw he sees them all the time. They're with him all the time at home, and like
they invoke the Intergalactic Federation.
Yeah.
You
portal hopped around. Well, I'm not going to say that he didn't meet entities, but I am going to question whether or not those entities were what we would call Bigfoot, or whether they were tricksters.
Right. So he said they were in the trees. He said he had this council with the 12 elders. They were.
Oh, he said they were orbs, actually?
Yeah, and
that's interesting.
They're with him all the time at home right now with his wife. They're around him all the time, and he's got one.
Jinn.
Yeah, like
Jinn.
Jinn.
Knows all one will come in service for 3 years, like whatever, and it's a female. He knows it's there's gender there, so there isn't a bunch of dysphoric things going on in that.
They got their shit together.
Big ups for keeping your shit together, squats. Whatever, Janu,
so,
fine.
When I first got into this racket around 2010 or something like that, I was a lot more interested in the ghost type stuff.
Yeah.
Anyway, we snuck into this park in Florida called Lake Colby Park. It's in a place called Casadega, just a little outside of DeLand, Florida. That's about halfway between Daytona Beach and Orlando.
Okay.
Casadega was founded towards the end of the last century by the spiritualist commune. As the story goes, they followed spirit guides down there and they ended up founding the settlement on the spot that they were told to. It's a really weird place. It's always basically the whole town is just a bunch of fortune tellers and what have you. If you go down like the main street, it's all these like psychic shops and stuff like that. It's always had a weird history. The original hotel was burned down in 1923 under circumstances I was never actually able to figure out. But the structure, at least part of that's like left in the Lake Colby Park. But that whole area is like insanely haunted. There's a lot of crazy stuff around the graveyard too. But anyway, we ended up sneaking into the park. You can't camp there or anything. It's closed after dark. But, you know, we did the whole ninja thing, got in there, set up a camp like in the heart of it. It's a really, really big park. So we were trying to go back to the area where the hotel had been to do a reading. And there's like this grove there of bamboo, which I kind of thought might have been used for some kind of ritual purposes with the way it was like set up and what have you. And as we're going there, the entire time we hear this, you know, enormous rustling like in the trees above us, right? And it was like a windless night. You know, it's Florida, obviously, but we're more like inland. I mean, a good 15, 20 miles from the beach or something like that. So it's not like an ocean breeze or anything. And it just keeps getting more and more intense. And then by the time we get into the park, I mean, it's just like literally almost like something's going around in circles in the trees. I mean, they're like shaking violently and what have you. And then at one point, we just like start feeling this huge force zooming down from the trees towards us. And the guys I was with like turned and run away. I stood there and it felt like this just huge breeze like came right up in front of me. And then at the last minute pulled up and like went over my head. Now, one of the guys had the presence of mind to film everything. And when we went back and watched it, there was actually an orb there.
Huh.
That's awesome.
Dude. Okay, so you said
So what
you got
do
it.
you?
Go ahead.
Sorry.
You first.
What's your take on what it is? What it's all about?
I mean, you know, I think it's definitely kind of like a window area. I mean, especially with all the weird stuff that's been going on there for years. I mean, you know, you would also go back into the park randomly and you'd see all these like shrines from like voodoo stuff, some satanic stuff, all kinds of crazy things like that. So, yeah, I mean, I think it might have been something that was a residual spirit or something that had been brought over, maybe something like that. I tend to take more of a mystical interpretation of stuff like Bigfoot and what have you, not just with UFOs. I think that's because I saw gray aliens when I was on mushrooms.
Yeah. Yeah, no.
Most. Well, we gotta touch that.
I'm with you. I've had a number of experiences and I used to think they were all different things. And now I'm like, no, that was all the same, like energy and entities. And like I've seen like an orb turn into a physical looking plane and then turn into a different type of plane and then turn into an orb again and then zoom off like faster than anything can move. So I know for sure that they can look like
that's kind of like my experience. Yeah, when it was like flying away, I mean, it was like really quick, but yeah.
That's why I'm like, anytime someone's describing a random shit, I'm like, well, again, like, just like I said, I don't disbelieve that that's what you saw. I just am questioning what the actual thing creating that is.
It's
right. Like, I don't like aliens. People are like, I've been abducted by aliens. And I'm like, I totally believe that this happened to you. I don't think it's flesh and blood aliens from some planet somewhere. I think it's a little trickster entity energy, whatever you want to think of those things as, like interdimensional.
Right, and since you can't place it, it's like there's no frame, there's no structure, you know. We look for those patterns, and the amygdala just blocks filters it out quickly.
Well, and you can just look at the patterns, right? Like, I have this book right here by Graham Hancock called Supernatural, and he goes through all these alien encounters, all these fairy abductions, all of these.
He's gonna come with gun blazing.
All of these fucking psychedelic trips, like all of this DMT shit, all of these different things that people think are separate, and they all have the exact same characteristics and the exact same patterns. And you're over thousands of years, and it just changes the look that you want, like the skin that you put on it, right?
Exactly.
Like,
it's a cultural projection, right? It's like or
it's a convenient, not just projection, but they were like, what is that person gonna? Okay, I'll be this.
Well, it's interesting. I mean, how you see the interactions and altered states of consciousness too, really throughout history. But I mean, you know, after my experience seeing the gray aliens on mushrooms, I mean, that was when I had kind of started to look into some of the stuff that Strassman's research on DMT, the whole spirit molecule thing. And that was kind of another common, you know, thing that they saw again, were like the gray aliens in that state as well. And then also the remote viewers, that was kind of another, even though obviously there was no real evidence, at least that they've acknowledged that they used psychedelics for those experiments. I mean, that was something that several of the remote viewers reported seeing in those sessions were gray aliens and that type of thing. And it's interesting too, because I mean, Strassman's experiment was shut down ultimately because of some of the health issues, specifically like the amount of cancer that a lot of the people involved in it had gotten. And that was actually the same thing with remote. Yeah, it was the same thing with the remote viewing program too. Quite a few of the remote viewers, including Pat Price, was one of the most got
Pat Price, and he was the best.
I would have thought that it would be so opposite. I would have thought if you're remote viewing and you're like having these experiences and you're using safe psychedelics, that you would be healing yourself. Like,
think about what you're doing though. Think about who you're working for.
Yeah, but why is that energy dangerous to us? Or why would it be degrading? Why would it degrade us?
That's a great question.
I mean,
because you could work with spiritual entities in a very positive way. Is that degrading you? Is that hurting you? Like, you know what I mean? That makes me wonder.
Give and take somewhere. It's part of a spectrum that we can't maybe feel. I don't. Who knows? It could be something along those lines. It feels right. Sounds right. I think. I don't know. But like trying to. It's like going into like how Recluse said. Paranormal. We get into the ghosts and shit, whatever. Yeah, that's like entry level for a lot of us into this kind of shit. And then it's like I took a UFO path. We all go down different rabbit holes, and unfortunately, some people don't come up from those rabbit holes.
Yeah.
But I like once I found Valia's work, I was like, oh, this is it. Like
because he's the one who says that
it's all
that it's all spiritual entities, right?
Well, it's all this. He refuses to. He refuses to say.
Who is it then?
I thought it was spelling. It's him.
But he doesn't actually say that. But he says like, "This is not physical." It's
all the same thing.
Like, yeah, okay.
It's all.
Yeah, because he's the first one that gave me that impression too. You're right.
Yeah, and like I have the Dimensions trilogy, where it's like Dimensions, where it's all cases like going back to time and like whatever, beginning of time, and those cases. It's like a giant casebook thing, and then the second one I think it's Confrontations, somewhere around here, and then Revelations. Confrontations is all nuts and bolts, all the nuts and bolts cases that were like super serious. Like he has a Brazil case in there, couple Spanish case, some crazy South American cases I think, and he puts that out, and then Revelations, geez, that is where he does a little bit of speculating, but not much. And he's just like, look, there's nothing to space, this whole thing, and that makes me that's just like, damn it, because like dinosaurs in space kind of it's fun now. I just make fun of dinosaurs. It's fake and gay with GHY.
Yeah, that one. Yeah. I forgot what I was gonna say. Damn it. It was something so amazing.
It's retrograde.
I know this is like the 7th time this episode
I know.
that I've lost what I was trying to say or think or whatever.
It's contagious.
Hey, Recluse, do you remember what strain of mushroom that was that you saw the gray aliens?
Oh yeah.
No, that was actually the first time I had ever tripped as well.
Wow.
I was at Colorado Springs at the University of Colorado there.
God,
you guys know Colorado Springs, that's not a good place for psychedelic drugs or really any kind of drugs. At least it wasn't when I was there in like 03 or 04 or something like that. That was like I think it still is the national headquarters for Focus on the Family. It was the kind of place in 04 people actually said prayers over like their Big Macs at McDonald's before they ate.
Love me some Jerry Falwell, baby. Dr. Dobson, man, what's up? Sorry, Pat Robertson.
I am about to do a little bit of microdosing again, but I don't partake anymore in general of any sort of hallucinogen, but I do a little bit of microdosing and I love it. I did, but the last time I did it was like 2 or 3 years ago or something. But it's awesome. If anybody's wondering, you should try it.
It's like we're different. I'm a different person from the last time I did like LSD. So, what I thought was LSD, right?
What I thought was LSD is the whole reason why most people shouldn't do hallucinogens.
Yeah, you want to hear my the Rick and Morty shit? It's cleanest shit I've ever.
I did probably about a pretty massive dose, which I like to do every now and then. I did lose my finger, and I'm just trying to heal and stuff like that, and it was really nice. But it's the consistency anytime I partake in that is this tourist field, well type place I can go into my mind where it's like a library of symbols and geometric shapes, and like, you know, where you can see our Indonesian temples and Mayan temples and everything. And what I find interesting is I never see anything Egyptian hieroglyphic, but I always see like the Indonesian. I see last night it was the runes were there. I see all kinds of amazing symbols. It's like a language, the real language.
It's your Akashic. It's your personal Akashic record portal.
It definitely
and you're
is.
Seeing
your
the
things
records that your blood is connected to.
Yes.
In my humble opinion, that's what's happening.
it's almost a fact to me now, but and I just went there and was able to take a lot of the pain and all that stuff. It's if you're an amputee, which I am now, although I didn't lose an arm or anything.
Yeah.
This is the most fascinating experience because I just try to get out of my mind. I watched the film called Horse. There's a woman cutting her finger off when her family dies. That's what they did, the American Indian. I'm seeing amputations everywhere. It's just bringing it all up. So, but it's definitely very healing.
Your psyche is fast tracking your healing.
Trying. So, but last night was real nice because I got to get into that place, and you know, no harm, no done.
Wait a minute.
I love that, Snake. You called me not too long ago. You know, when you were, and I'm like, it's so funny because I don't trip anymore, but every time someone's tripping, and I always was like the trip sitter, the trip mother, or whatever, like always. And every time someone's tripping, they like call me or find me or like whatever. It's just so funny. I was like, here we go again. It's awesome.
That was an accident.
It was rad. It was meant to be.
No, not calling you, but it was the first try of something I grew, and I didn't realize it was that strong. And then by that, there is. What is it?
No. I'm saying that's another reason why I personally don't partake anymore.
Yeah,
there's absolutely no way you can know what you're doing, except microdosing, because it's so tiny. There's like no way you can get high, and I love that.
Yeah, that's what I'm hoping for next. So,
you're worried about that, huh? Like you go a little bit too far, Lindsay.
Who, me? No, I do not know how many times I've dropped acid, but I know for sure it's something like 300, and I have.
Wow.
Doses. All right, you and Kyle Johnson. I love you, Kyle. What's up, buddy?
Doses. And like mushrooms, I've also done. I don't even know how many times. So I'm like, I'm good. Been there, done that.
Yeah, work's been done.
Never mind, I'll shut up.
Like I started doing acid when I was like 12 years old, and we had Friday, and so every Friday we would drop, and then we would drop for at least 3 days, like the whole weekend. We would just continuously be higher and higher and higher, and every week we did that for at least a year, and then I continued to do it whenever randomly.
You just had a breakthrough. That's just me, but I mean, like
so the problem with LSD is you're not rooted, and that's why it's like there's another thing. I know that this mycelium, this fungus is alive.
Oh yeah,
there's a conscious to it. And my experience with LSD, which has been a very, very long time back when I was a teenager, you're not rooted. And I think that's why, like I was talking to Ben Balderson, he says is exactly why they use it, like the CIA and stuff, because you're not rooted to anything.
Yeah, that's an interesting point, because I always, even though I enjoy doing LSD, I've often, kind of found it's like almost it's a total mental thing. Whereas like with mushrooms, you kind of feel it in your body too. At least for me, it's just like I don't know. It's like that.
You can feel that going through your veins. The mushrooms. I'm gonna cut you off, but I know what you mean. Like you can feel it's like in your life force.
Yeah.
Breathing.
It's kind of like the same thing with mescaline. It's more that earthy high. Whereas like with LSD, it's just something kind of totally detached, if you will.
That's why you feel dirty. You know what I mean? We all know that dirty feeling when you go
sparkly.
to the mirror. Like, don't look at your hands. Just don't. Just chill.
Well, it's a pharmaceutical. It's been made in a lab or synthetic. Synthetic. So I mean, I just think that's fine.
But I will say,
even like with mescaline though, I mean that still to me has like kind of earthy vibe, even though it's also like a synthetic.
Mescaline's a fucking trip.
It's amazing. I saw how birds talk to each other.
I love mescaline. That's psychedelic.
So awesome.
Yes.
I did so much in Chicago, like like getting stranded too in Old Cabrini Green. The cab driver dropped me in Steve Landish off. Like we were like,
Jesus Christ.
You're literally gonna, we have like $60. We need to get to Logan Square, dude. And he's like, all this is blocked off, and it was like it was just so nightmarish, and we are blazed on mescaline, and we're like, oh, everybody else is at that club. What club was that again? We don't fucking live in Chicago. We just know, like, and there's clubs open all night, so we need to go to wherever this next club is, so we have a place to sleep. You know what I mean? Type thing. So it's 4:00 in the morning. We're like, we gotta go to Dolores's, and then we have to go to the exit and meet them here. Like, it was just like, what? Super stressful that we just dipped on everybody. The cab ride, and it was like, let's just walk to Logan Square. It's not that bad. Just walk like 6 miles. Whatever. It was awful.
You can do anything when you're that high.
Yeah, and it was winter, and it was pretty shitty. So.
Well, I have a mushroom story that is when I really learned that it definitely is a being and a consciousness that is in these mycelium. And so I was hunting, but it's not a psychedelic story, but it is a psychedelic story. But I was hunting chanterelles, and I had been hunting chanterelles for however many years. And so I was like decent at hunting chanterelles.
Nice.
But you can never really be that great at hunting mushrooms because, and especially not if you make this choice that I made, which was a stupid choice, which was to harvest a very tiny baby chanterelle. And when they're that tiny, it's a lot harder to know if it's a chanterelle or not. And so some of the ones I got were too small because I was being greedy. So there's another lesson in this: don't be greedy. And so I cooked them up and we ate and whatever. And I guess I got the one that was not a chanterelle. Because I got horrifyingly sick. This giant storm rolled in. We're camping. So we're in our tent. It's like pouring rain and the wind is like fucked up and there's lightning and I'm like barfing everywhere over and over again. I have this super bad fever and I'm like disgusting. And it's like, I have to keep running to the bathroom, which is like through the mud and rain. And I'm like covered in filth and like fucked up. And I was like, at some point in the middle of the night after my boyfriend had long since passed out because he was like, couldn't help me anymore and was just like, I mean, we're going to fucking make it, I guess, or whatever. Good night. Like passed out. I'm like still sitting there just like super sick. And finally I'm like, I'm going to die actually. Like I am actually going to die right now. And I like left my body a bit. I was going numb and losing like my ability to pay attention to anything. And so, and like just not caring too. So I was like, I think I'm dying. I think this is death. I don't think it was looking back, but in the moment I was like, surely I'm dying. And I left my body a bit and I was walking out of the tent out of my body as like, you know, spirit me or whatever. And this fucking lady, like, so I heard this like rustling in the, like through the storm and whatever. I like heard this rustling and the trees were moving and I was like, someone's coming. And this woman walks out covered in like earth and like grass and fucking trees and like shit. And her face, I can barely even tell is a face. And she's got a huge like dog wolf with her thing. Yeah. And she's like, looks at me and I was like, oh shit. You're like the fucking mushroom lady. Like, can you just please, I'm so sorry that I ate this shitty mushroom. Like, please don't kill me. And she just like laughed at me and walked away and like flicked her hand and I went back to my body.
That was
wow.
So mushrooms have a consciousness and I met one of them and she took pity on my stupid ass and like let me live, I think.
Holy shit, that's insane.
You just have to treat your mushrooms like Halloween candy, you know, have a double check them with a responsible adult.
Yes.
Needles in my candy. No.
Or at least take one
straight
big
razors,
enough.
just straight razors
Sure,
this time, son.
it's that one.
Yeah.
But I was like, it was very kind. But like her, I can't even like really express like the feeling of her was like very clear that she was like a fucking badass and that I was like nothing.
It's like the female
her.
Pan.
I guess. Yeah. It was
you can smell her. She's that earthy smell that accompanies the mushrooms.
Absolutely.
Who was the pet channeler you had on? It's a lady.
Yeah. Catherine.
Catherine. That was great. And she did Leo, not realizing that he was a dog.
Oh yeah, and she's like, he's very confused about being a cat.
Yeah. And then she said that Leo has his third eye open a bit. And it had just been a few days prior he ate some of my mushrooms, actually quite a bit. And boy, I thought that was great. Leo's had
this is why people are like, oh, she's cold reading. I'm like, no, she's not. Like,
no,
that type of thing has happened so many times that I've seen her like nail something that there's no possible way she could have known, like exactly that. Like, well, Leo's not really like liking being a cat. And you're like, well, that's because Leo's a dog. Those are awesome. And then, yeah, that his third eye's open. You're like, yeah, he just ate mushrooms.
Oh, that was great.
She's so cool.
Yeah, I think once if a dog or cat eats mushrooms, they really get human sort of intelligence. Like every time it's happened with my dogs, it's always like, oh no, what are you doing? And then they're like, just like, looking around, like glazed, happy, big smile, and then
they totally get everything now.
They look at you and they understand every word. And they're like, no.
Yeah.
They're hypersensitive to everything. It's like
seriously true.
The last dog, Annabelle.
What's happening with this guy?
It's just like that. The English pointer. It's one of the smartest dogs I've ever had, and she ate. We were baking cookies, a ton of weed cookies, right? Cannabis.
Psychedelics.
And she ended up. We brought a bunch. We were bringing tubs out. You know what I mean? I was working with another buddy, and Annabelle decided to take the liberty of jumping up on the couch and just going in there when she never does that. Like, I can trust this dog. I turn my back and she would never take a steak. You know what I mean? She's like she was not having it. She was like, y'all ain't paying attention to me. Screw you. Y'all are in the kitchen. You are not, you know what I mean? She was
like, up. This is my chance to ascend.
Yeah.
Excuse me.
Get this. So I'm like, shit. And I find out she's acting, she's like not moving and not like, she's just rocking and barely able to. I'm like, oh no. And it's technically my ex-wife's dog, and I'm sitting the dog, technically. I'm like, and two other dogs that are cameramen.
Picks her dog up, and her dog's like, hello, I have ascended.
Well, this is amazing. Get this. So Annabelle gets to the point where she's literally cannot walk. Okay. She's just, she's eating herself inebriated. And I had done the math. I'm like, how many fucking cookies does this dog eat? She's like a 25-pound dog, but like a good size, like English pointer, you know what I mean? Like a good sized dog. Looks like Snoopy. And she Crystal comes home from work and she like walks in the back door and she's like, where's my puppy? Always runs to the back door. And I'm like, oh, she's in here, and Anthony's here too. And then she goes in, and what are you doing in my bed? Why are you just staring at me and not coming to greet me? And I'm like, Anthony, shut up.
Like she's getting a chakra massage from afar. Like, let her chill.
So I proceed very carefully and, to tread very lightly and let her know that, she got wild, man. It's just, must have ate, I don't know. Like, I played a little half dumb. I couldn't go to work because of, this is one of the whole fucking debacle. Terry knows it. You're in the chat. So, what was it? Okay, so she's just super pissed, not talking to me, whatever, it's one of those. And I was like, she's probably gonna have to go pee. She's like, we gotta go to bed. It's been a couple hours or whatever. And I was like, shit. And I go to I'm like, Annabelle, come on, baby. And I go to pick her up, and there's just piss everywhere in the bed. We threw the mattress out that night. We had to throw and order a new mattress. We ordered a mattress from Wayfair, and it came.
No children came with it.
Took that. Because I was bringing the heat, but it's all right. But yeah, she pissed the bed, ruined that bed. But that bed needed to be tossed away anyway. So
put that thing on Craigslist, quick.
Yeah.
We
She was doing you a favor.
She did do us a favor because I can't even say it right now, you guys, and I can say anything, and I cannot say this. Sorry.
That means we probably don't want to hear it anyway, right?
No, you probably don't want to hear it. I don't want to be disrespectful to I do want to be disrespectful. No, not like this.
I do, but not like this.
This is next level disrespect.
Yeah. I don't know. My dog we had a huge, one of the many, many times that we were doing lots and lots of acid. We had a huge, it was 20 people or whatever, everybody's on the same gel tabs. And so it was a mass consciousness event, on accident.
I've had those. Yep.
And which is rad. Yeah. And So my dog was there though, and of course everyone's petting the dog all night. And I finally realized at some point in the night, I was like, "Holy shit, Ranger's fucking tripping as hard as we are." He's like sitting in a circle with us, like totally nodding, and like when people are talking and shit. And I'm like, "He fucking knows." Like, and ever after that, I was like, he knows everything I'm thinking. He knows he understands everything I say perfectly. Like he has no difference between, he just can't talk in English back, but like I know what he's saying too.
Oh, he reads his intonation and inflection.
Yeah, like it was crazy though. Like he went from like normal dog, like, you know, knows what you mean, but like isn't like highly fucking attuned to it or whatever, to like just another person in the room.
Right. Hey, it's cool, man. Chill, all right? He's got another dog buddy. He's got a dog date. Dude, calm this asshole. Get him out of here.
Oh, I miss that dog. He was such a good boy.
Oh, man.
My grandpa said one time to me, he said, a man only has like 1 or 2 really good dogs in his life.
This is true.
And I thought that was super deep.
Oh, that means I'm done.
I'm done too. I got this one right here, and that's a wrap after this one.
I got this one.
I'm like, I figure if the universe like plops a dog in my lap, then I'll like, okay, this is my dog now, but I should like not get a dog, you know?
Yeah, I think that's a good idea.
That's how I feel about it. But
I still
also
have carte
love
blanche to get a cat
James's
and a dog, but...
buffalo hat.
Oh, thank you.
That's pretty rad.
Yeah, I went buffalo hat shopping after the thing that happened with the stuff over at the place with the capital letters, you know?
When the tourists stumbled in to Capitoline Hill.
Yeah, I don't remember. But I've been wearing it every time I feed the goats, the baby goats. So
I love it.
They love it. You know,
they're gonna be like like a third buffalo, a third human, and a third goat. And then you can feed them mushrooms, and then they'll just be like,
and tell them it's the year of the ox. They'll be so gender confused or species confused.
A council of ascended goats.
Have the dogs lick them. The dogs love to clean up their faces and stuff. So it's pretty. It's pretty fun.
Are making me want goats. I just know I don't have our yard is big, but it's not that big. I think
mine
chickens
is small.
And maybe a few rabbits is going to be enough. You have a small yard too?
Yeah, it's really small. I got like a shed, like a 10 by 10 shed, and I'm gonna build a small like pen on outside of that, and for immediately, and then I'll make a bigger one.
And then you can rent them out as lawnmowers.
That's what I was thinking.
Yeah.
People pay big money here.
They do. Because they also then aerate a little and get their shit, like they make the soil better. Like they're rad.
Yeah. But don't touch the fence. It looks like just a wire, but don't touch it. I've got, learn that lesson the hard way.
Our goats were like like they're just like, what's the right word? I don't even know. It's not stupid, but it's like, I don't know. They just don't give a fuck about anything, I guess is what it is. Our goats
kind of dumbasses a little bit. Like maybe they're just curious. Yeah, it's hard to say. Like one of my goats is really smart, and she's kind of skittish. Like, and the other ones are like just sort of like nice and just, like, wander off the side of the couch, not even really paying attention.
And then they're like made of steel. So not that you would, but you could like smash their ass with a hammer and they would like barely notice. Nobody should do that. I'm not saying you should. I'm just saying they're made of steel.
Well, let's see. I'll grab one.
Yay!
Come here.
Yay, goats.
Come and say hi. Come here.
Yeah, that's next on my list. Got to get the fence up and the goats, and then we're picking up 2 dozen chickens.
More chickens.
Say Buster Douglas chickens.
Yeah.
And are your girls just not gonna bully, or does it just like work itself out, or how do you manage that?
Sit down.
I don't know yet. I might have to separate them, but so far so good.
Oh, little baby goat.
Yeah.
This is Zipper Buster Brown.
Zipper Buster.
Zipper Buster Brown. He's the boy.
I want to go so bad now.
He's the squeaky wheel. If I take the girls away, he's the noisiest one.
I like that the dog is just making out with him now.
He's like, Everybody loves baby goats, don't they?
Yeah. He's like, I need to understand what you are. What are you made of?
Give him kisses. Funny, look. Clean out his ears.
Yeah. Goat's like, what?
Goats.
That's so cute. Yeah. He's a pretty stoic little goat.
He is.
Yeah.
Yeah, I can't see it.
Yeah, I'm trying. Why do you want to show? Look, Ellie.
Oh, yep.
Looks like a little dog. He's got beagle ears.
Yeah, he does have puppy dog ears. Hi. And their little hoofs. He's got white hoofs.
That's Satan's hand.
Yeah.
That's like a dog.
Manicured nails, it looks like.
What a
Like
cutie.
Star Goat. Remember her?
Yeah. She was a goat.
She thought she was a dog.
Oh.
That's Ben and Christie's goat.
Yeah. Oh, okay. I was going to say that's like Ben and Christie's goat, but it's literally Ben and Christie's goat.
Yep. Star Goat.
Yep.
I love that goat.
It is cute.
Mm-hmm.
I put it in the butt once.
Got a birthmark.
The butt once.
So it's
Knee.
like right here.
Teardrop.
Oh.
Oh, wow.
Now
All
I
right.
have-
They're going to make milk, right? Are they milk goats?
This
or-
is the boy, but yeah, they are. Eventually, when they get old enough and get pregnant, this guy, I think, is going to get a rubber band on his nuts.
No.
Knock up his sisters.
How dare you?
I know. Or I
Genesis,
maybe trade him for somebody
Genesis.
Yeah.
that's not related. It might be
Maybe
nice,
sick.
but
That's not a bad idea. I mean, you're just raising them until they're old, right? Because they were
Yeah.
orphaned.
well, I'm gonna keep the mamas, the
Yeah.
little mamas, but this guy, he's gonna be so nice because he's hand fed and sweet.
Yeah.
So he'd make a good pet for somebody, I think.
Yeah.
Don't sniff at the balls, please. That.
Well, not yet. Anyway, he's too little for that. I'm just kind of learning as I go, as far as goats go.
Yeah.
Right? Yeah.
Oh, he loves you.
Yeah. How could you cut my nuts off? It says.
You guys, I gotta go.
Yeah.
I don't know if you're gonna keep going or not, but I
We'll
have
go a little
to.
bit longer.
No, I gotta go
Where's my
too.
face?
I gotta go feed the chickens.
You guys are fun to hang out with and talk about mushrooms and Odin, even though we didn't talk
Yes.
about Odin.
Hail the old
Where
father.
am I? Oh, here I am. Oh, look who it is now.
Someone just came right when I'm leaving.
Stevie
Oh.
Sorensen. Look
Oh,
at it.
see, that's my
Danish-
perfect exit then.
Danish powerhouse.
The Danish.
Look at
Bye.
him.
Hi,
We got
Steven.
we
Bye,
got Danish
Steven.
Thunder right here. Bye, Lindsay.
Bye,
Lindsay.
guys.
Lindsay.
We'll see
I'll hit you
you.
up.
If I don't see you before, I'll see you when you're coming on Rogue Ways on. I have it down here. Hold on. Jesus Christ. On the 9th of March.
All right.
But
Yeah.
I'll see you before then because I need to buy some organite. Like I was gonna do it on the
Oh,
air
true.
and make it off
Yeah,
fun.
yeah. Let's hook it up.
New
We'll
moon
record it.
tomorrow.
We'll record it and then we'll post it.
Rad. All right. Bye, everybody.
Bye. Have a good night.
Bye.
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 Look
Taking
at
off too,
Danish
guys.
Thunder. Look at
I'll be
you.
listening.
Where are you, man? You're up in the you up in that northern him.
Hello.
Catching that aurora.
Steven. Hi.
Hey, everyone.
Got that green
Howdy.
screen action, baby. What's up, buddy? Do you know who Recluse Steve Snider is? He's here.
I don't think we've met. Hello. What's up, man?
Sorensen's good. You need to well, yeah. He does the
Just-
farm podcast.
Just chilling. I got about maybe 20, 30 minutes to kill here, so I figured I'd hop in.
Thanks, bud. Appreciate it, man.
What I
Me too.
miss. You can summarize it in a couple sentences.
Summarize what? Say it again.
What I miss.
Oh, dude.
Bigfoots.
Bigfoot.
We talked about crystals and mushrooms.
We went the distance. We went all the way around. We ran circles around. What do you think? Recluse.
goat babies.
We hit every topic. I mean, not every topic, obviously, but I mean, we needed you to round everything out. So now we're gonna be able to that's it. Tap out. History taps out.
Right? That's it.
That's
Show's over, everyone.
Books are written. Scribes, go home. Go home. Go home. Jerk off once in a while. Go home. use your imagination. No, I can't do that. Krista's here.
Hey, Krista.
We love Emilio. Hi, Emilio. And yep, that's what's up, Jenny.
So what's new with you, Steven?
Yeah, Danish.
What has it been? Maybe 3 days since our last chat?
Seems like ages, actually.
It does. And I couldn't jump in on that, and that was garbage. And I'm just happy to know that the show powers on.
Yeah, it was fun.
I started listening to your Crow interview today.
Oh, that was a good
I got
one.
like 25 minutes in, and then or maybe 20 minutes in, and I got interrupted and didn't make it back, but good interview.
I gotta say, I'll say it. Because, well, whatever. I don't care. Yeah, it did seem like he was trying to... You broke it down so brilliantly. Like, I was, like, smiling. Like, I'll probably, like, yeah, fuck yeah. Because it was like he didn't give you the full episode. So I thought that was a cheap shot. And that sounds... I'm not going to say what I think about it. I'm just going to,
Well, I did the full 2 hours. It's just the second half is only paid to view.
Well, yeah, but I was saying,
Paywall.
but he gave you a 0.5. Like, it wasn't, but maybe we did hook it up, like, all ran. It was like a weird, that was awesome. So, I'm happy.
What do you mean he gave me a 0.5?
You're not a full episode number, and I took that personally.
Oh, yeah, I noticed that too.
Man.
I was wondering what was up with that.
And also the age thing.
I didn't really care.
Like, smartest dude, you're one of the smartest cats I fucking, like, you're with your research, and you cover every fucking thing, and that makes me really happy. So when I hear you and I hear someone with an air, like just a little fucking air of, what the fuck does this kid know? You know what I mean? Kind of thing, like that air, just that hint that I can usually pick it out just like that, especially if I know who the fuck is interviewing. For years I've been listening to Crow. So it was like he had a little, and he had to like stand down completely to your research and your stick-to-itiveness, like taking the long run. Like, you're not gonna just fucking stop, and you're also making a fucking call for other people if they have a little bit of passion for some whatever. Go, like we need all the voices we can get.
Yeah, I guess I don't know Crow all that well, so I didn't get that from him. But if you're familiar with his works, then maybe he did kind of have that opinion on me.
I've been listening to him for...
I thought he was respectful, and
he was. I
thought he was interesting to talk to. Jason as well. They're both really interesting guys. So yeah. I was just tuning in earlier to they're doing their Saturn thing.
Saturn. I love that show.
Yeah, I tune into that every once in a while. So, but I knew you had sent me the link. I had just eaten some dinner, so I figured I'd hop in here.
What'd you have?
Had a couple of turkey sandwiches.
Sammy's? You almost said it, didn't you?
I almost did.
You did. Yeah. I know. I got you there, bud.
No, but yeah, they're pretty good. I had a little ham on it too. I threw in a couple slices of ham. Had some pickles and some spinach and kale, and yeah, it comes together pretty good for a later dinner type.
That sounds fantastic.
Meal, yeah. Sometimes I'll have chips with it, but I've been trying to cut the chips out, so I haven't been buying them as much. So I would have had
Ruffles?
chips if I had them.
What are we talking?
Like some whatever. But usually I just get whatever's on sale. So I'll try and stick to like they have these salt and I can't even remember what they're called. I know what the bag looks like though. They're pretty good. They're like kettle baked or something, I think is what they're called.
Yeah, that's good stuff.
Yeah, those are pretty good. They go pretty quick though, so I try not to get them too much. I can't imagine they're too healthy either. I've been trying to eat healthier foods.
I know the brand. I can't even. It's written in so scribbly, right? We just don't even know what the fuck.
Yeah,
kettle
it's like
something. Kettle chips, right?
I think it's store brand here though. I don't get any of the name brand stuff.
But I know it's the same, like, they rip the same design, It's just,
yeah, it's basically the same thing.
Same stylings.
Yeah. Yeah, but food's good. To Jim, to answer you from just earlier, what's new? I made a joke. It's only been a few days, but yeah, I have done quite a bit in the last couple of days. I finished my book. Not my book. I finished. I think her name's Alina Tugend or something.
I'm gonna cut you off. I'm sorry.
No, I've never done the ghostwriting, not yet. But
yeah, it's coming.
I'm feeling like potentially I might have to at some point. To get my work out there, even if it's under someone else's name. But the book I finished was called Better by Mistake.
Meaning you read this book, Steven?
Yeah, I just finished reading it.
That's key.
It's called Better by Mistake, The Unexpected Benefits of Being Wrong. And it's kind of an interesting book. It talks a lot about, it's a kind of an introductory level book. It covers a lot of different studies that have been done on mistakes and how different people handle mistakes in different ways, and the benefits of owning up to a mistake, and how awkward it can be in a culture that is hostile towards mistakes, or even ridicules people who make them. So yeah, it gave me an interesting perspective. One main thing that I wasn't aware of is the benefit to using your name for working in group situations. So apparently if people know each other's names, they are going to work better in a group with them, and also make less mistakes because of that.
Because they would feel personally accountable?
I don't know what the psychology was. This book compiles a lot of different studies, so it sort of just does surface level summaries of it, of a lot of different things. And so it was interesting. It was kind of a break that I took from doing my readings on calendars. But so I finished that. I finished Robert Hanna's book on Greek and Roman calendars. That's a good one. It's got a lot of technical information. One thing that I'm noticing for calendrical studies is just the same issue with any sort of historical study, is that it's based on these assumed ideas, these assumed dates, and when things had happened in the past. And that's stuff that I think is still kind of up for debate. And so as far as a lot of the historical interpretations, I'm not sure how legitimate that is, but as far as the technical details go, as extrapolating information off of the sources, that stuff I find interesting and useful. And I wouldn't become I wouldn't say I'm an expert on calendars, but I know where to look if I were to need to consult the literature when I'm doing other historical studies. So if I see a record that's been attributed to a certain day or a certain era, then I know kind of generally what kind of calendar it might be using. And since there's so many differences between the calendars, the years can be different. And so as far as historical dating goes, understanding at least the basics of calendars is a useful bit of knowledge to have. So that's been kind of interesting.
Speaking of calendars, what is the most accurate? What do you think would be the best calendar? Like, I know there's like moon calendars, which is like the moon cycle, and there's like 13 months or something. There's the sun calendar is like the one you go by.
The lunar calendar, if I'm not mistaken, falls behind, I think, by 11 days
because of the 19.
Yeah, I don't have it off the top of my head. I'm not going to go clicking around looking for it right now.
Can I reframe your question, Jim?
Yeah.
You mind? All right. So what would you say is, if you, let's say, like, you have advanced knowledge that all the web is going to go down, right? The internet's going down. IPFS has just, like, it's only got like 10% full. You know what I mean? Like, everybody's trying to get over there and it crashes on the way to IP. Everybody's going, we're going to all IPFS. Fuck it. It's just like they're doing with like crypto, right? It's like, oh, yeah, let's legacy, all legacy tech. Just screw it. And when they try to make that leap, dude, I could just see the stumble. So let's say the stumble happened, right? It just happened and like everything's down and you have to pick. Like you're in charge of like setting up like a structured, you know, like a calendar system, and you need a reference point. What are you bringing with you? Like, and you're, you know, you got a dog with you, you got your girl, and you know, throw in one of your boys or throw in some asshole you don't even know. And what are you bringing with to survive?
For timekeeping purposes?
For like, dude, I'm saying like you got to factor in agriculture too. Like
right,
you might have to grow some shit because food's fucked up. Like
for agriculture, you'd want to use a seasonal calendar, which is based on the cycles of the sun,
right.
Because the seasons are dictated by the.
I'm just saying. Okay, let me. I don't want to go. Okay, so let me fix this, modify it just a tiny bit. I guess you just gotta. Like you're the only person that can go. All right, so like we can go to you and ask you. All right, dude. Like, what's the one you have to take? Gun to your head. Like the one that you know. What's the calendrical? What's the calendar you take with you, or do you? Like, let's say you don't have a chance to.
Trying to say, like, what is the best calendar for an end of the world scenario?
Yeah, for an end of the let's say like we got a fucking shit's cut off.
Well, yeah, I would take a solar calendar.
So you just rock sky clock.
Yeah, it's based on the motion of the sun,
right?
And so when it's closest to the Earth is the high point of the harvesting season. Is not harvesting, the growing season.
The maximum and minimum, yeah.
It gets the most sunlight out so the plants can grow the most. And winter, you know, is the sun's the furthest away. And so figuring out when that day is that the sun will be the closest is important for being able to grow crops and survive. And then you just split up how many days. I think it's about 365.2429 days is a solar year.
Out of curiosity, would there be any effect if there was like a polar shift or anything like that?
I do not know the answer to that off the top of my head. It's 365.24219 mean solar days. So that's rotations.
It's such a crappy number, you know? It's not round. It doesn't divide up evenly unless you do some special workings and add a day every 4 years. It's crummy.
Right. Yeah, even the day every 4 years is not going to be sufficient in the super long run, but that can be accounted for anyways later on.
364 or 365.24. Yeah, that's not even, it'd be like a whole day every like 1,000 years or something.
These equations have been done many times, but for survival, you would want to know when the sun will be closest.
Okay.
And actually, that might not even be the case since nowadays we have new.
She's throwing it all in on it, dude.
Well, now we have new technology that will allow us, like vertical farming. You could grow all year round indoors. You don't need the celestial cycles to be able to do that. In an apocalyptic scenario, you know, I'd maybe have an underground bunker that you'd only want to leave every once in a while to get more resources and grow your own food in there. And if we're talking like a nuclear apocalypse where like all of outside is radioactive, I don't know if I'd be wanting to grow my food in a radioactive atmosphere.
That's out the window.
So it really depends on the specifics, but as far as like apocalypse of just a general breakdown of society, not anything like crazy like where the atmosphere will kill you, solar calendar would be all right.
Good answer.
That is a good answer. That was your question, Jim.
In my opinion, I could be wrong.
It sounds right.
Better answer.
Yeah, you know, who knows? It's tiny little mistakes can lead sailors way off course into the middle of a storm and kill them. And so it's hard to determine, you know, you want to make sure that you're making the right decision, but with limited information, it can be difficult to do so.
Definitely. I just realized y'all got double S's too. I don't know why there's a 2 here, but you do. Anyway.
What's your middle name?
AIM.
Yeah, birthdays, go for it. Geminis. What do you?
I am a Gemini on the classical one.
Oh, that's funny. I'm a Sagittarius. We're like the polar opposite.
I'm a Taurus in the updated version.
I'm a Taurus.
Hate each other. We hate each other.
My middle name starts with E.
Actually, no, Geminis and Sagittariuses, because of their polarity, balance each other out well.
Yeah, I was about to say, dude. Yeah. No, it does. Tauruses. Those fucking Taurus, yeah.
That's me.
Grudge holding bastards.
You can tell.
Well, because there's two different ways to determine your sun sign, and one's on the classical way, which is outdated. It's astronomically incorrect, and that's the one that most people are familiar with. But then there's the updated one that actually accounts for where the planets really are, and that would put me in Taurus, I think, right in the middle of it. On the classical one, I'm born on the cusp.
Oh, you're like 15, kid?
What is your birth date?
May 16th, 17th?
22nd, so I think it's the morning of.
It goes higher. I'm an idiot, sorry.
Of May 22nd?
Yeah.
I'm April 23rd. I'm on the other end. Or I'm
right between what is that? Aries and Taurus?
Mm-hmm.
Or Pisces and Aries.
No, it's Aries.
Taurus and Aries.
Taurus and Aries.
Yeah.
And Virgo.
Yeah.
I think, yeah. I don't fucking know. But what's the other
Pretty
one?
cool.
What's the other one? The one that should be. Oh, or wait. How should we be going by it then? What's the difference with the ones that people follow today and whatever?
It's been many years since I've looked into this. I think I got that right.
Okay. Because
everything's moved over a little, like 7.
You slide it over, or do you add a sign?
Well, I think the idea here, and I have debates about this. I mean, I've got issues with the whole precession thing, but I think the idea is that over time, precession has changed where the planets and stars are at.
What is your beef with the precession of the equinoxes?
Yeah, what the fuck, bro?
So precession is mainly based on Ptolemy, and if Ptolemy's dates get moved, then the amount of time that precession takes would get moved. So even if you were to move Ptolemy 100 years, it would affect the mathematics behind the equations for precession.
It's also intermingled and complicated.
That's some premature.
And you're a pretty dangerous guy.
Actually. I am.
Yeah, with if everybody else is wrong in in learning, then you're a very dangerous man.
His head's gonna explode.
To be pointing it out. It's
Well, I don't know. I look at it now. Maybe just because I've read this book on mistakes, but now I've got more of a eye out for mistakes and how can we verify if this is true or not? And I mean, even before I read the book, I was already looking out for that stuff.
Well, there's
now
people
it puts
that
it
are
into
experts,
perspective.
you know?
It puts it into perspective from a systems point of view instead
engineering
of a
standpoint. Like, you get to
like how can we fix this system to account for any errors and avoid mistakes?
Get that scaffolding up, baby.
But they, just like everybody who's an expert,
fashion the
with
stone,
the air
man.
quotations, they
great work.
They spent their whole life learning this stuff, and if they're wrong.
I'm sorry to interrupt, but
they're not
they've spent their whole lives learning this stuff. That's almost like it's like a weird cliche that I've started to take notice of more recently too, of like who's really spent their whole life learning like one thing. Like this guy has spent every waking moment thinking about precession and tackling it from every point of view.
Good point.
It's usually that kind of thing is like a side note. Like they've spent a large majority of their life studying astronomy maybe, and precession takes a very small sliver of the study there. But that's when you start getting like PhD specialists who have, and even it doesn't take your whole life to get a PhD. Otherwise you wouldn't have people who are 25 with PhDs. It would take towards the end of their life to get that. But and I don't know. It's maybe I'm just being. It's technical. The language we use is important, and so when we're talking about these things, to be able to create an accurate model of what's really taking place, I don't know if there are technically people that have spent their whole life
I was about to say, it's
studying
people like
procession.
you keeping these pieces of shit on their toes.
Well, I guess people that have
Corners,
made it their career to specialize in
Mercurial
certain
indeed.
specialized fields of history that your work could invalidate. It would be pretty hard to actually admit that to yourself, as a person that has spent a great deal of time and focus becoming what they feel like is an expert.
That's why I'm interested in finishing this next book that I've started called The Unpersuadables, Adventures with the Enemies of Science. And it's about people who can't be persuaded by facts. It doesn't matter.
That's got to be a good one.
Yeah. So far, I've read chapter 1, and it kind of just bashes creationists. And so I'm hoping it gets a bit more technical. But
so I'm wondering, do you use emotional arguments or do you have to
to gain the
trick someone with logic, or what? If they're from my experience, people have made up their own mind and they're not gonna budge at all, really, on certain things.
Sounds like you live with a bunch of racists, Jim. Sorry, go ahead.
Well, I mean, just the whole flat Earth discussion.
Oh, geez,
as an example,
that. You want to stumble on that all night?
Somebody
Have fun. Die on that hill all day. Have fun. I ain't dying on that hill.
I'm just saying, there's no way to.
It's fun.
To bash.
It's an exercise. It's a thought.
Beliefs into somebody else's head if they have their beliefs made up. That's got to be a really interesting book.
Think about the mental gymnastics that have to be done too. Look at you, fucking child. Stop.
So actually, those glasses will work.
Those look dope, dude. They actually do work.
Yep.
Yeah.
Yeah, I was rocking these last time too.
Yo, earlier, Steven, I was trying to find. I just gotta ask you real quick. I need to get this out, otherwise I will forget. What the fuck was that badass hip hop we were listening to? It was study shit. I couldn't find
that mix.
History. Yeah, I couldn't. I needed
that Goop Wizard mix.
Goop Wizard. That was.
Yeah, it's not by Goop Wizard, but Goop Wizard does these. What's it called? Microdose.
Dude, I got
virtual reality.
I got a teenage engineering. I got a KO today, the metal series, and then I got the. Dude, I got it's on. I got inspired again, so I'm gonna make a bunch of beats, really stupid shit, but it's gonna be good. That's all that matters.
Right on.
Quality. Professionalism, right? Take this shit seriously, dog. But yeah. Sorry for cutting you off there, Jim. Again.
Yeah, damn it. Jeez, David.
Jeez, what is this? What is this? Is this LGBT? Is this Pride year? Jeez, Steven. There you go.
Proud to be an American.
PH, yes. We'll PH and VE it.
So why do they call them Renaissance men? People that have multiple specialties.
They're people that spent their whole life studying one thing. No, they're people that were really into their study, that spent every waking hour practicing and honing their skills. And so that's where the term Renaissance man comes from. It's somebody who's reaching to new heights in human endeavor. So it's that the spirit of the Renaissance embodied in a person. For what I understand, that's what the term is.
So are there any?
About.
Are there any Renaissance men?
Lots of Renaissance men.
Good. Any favorites?
I guess. It would depend on how you define Renaissance man. Let me just make sure I'm not
Recluse
wrong on that.
Right now. I'm just saying.
And then another question.
How about that Super Bowl, though, buddy? Sorry,
if
man.
mente means mind, does basement mean foundation mind?
I don't understand.
Never mind. I was just boggling myself over that one. I was like, basement.
You're doing hard mental gymnastics, Jim. You're not ready for it. You're crashing off the beam, bro.
Base means foundation.
We were both kind of right on that, where it is somebody who's very skillful or clever, but also is good and clever in many different areas too. So,
jack of all tradesmen.
Yeah, I don't know who I would
Master
call
of
a
none.
Renaissance man, but I know that there's lots of people out there that excel in many different areas.
Third best at everything right here. What's up?
Yeah. I wouldn't be able to
about
name
like
one
a-
off the top of my head.
What?
What about Jacques Vallée?
Yeah, he's got some weird
Computer
shit.
scientist,
Yeah.
UFO stuff.
Keeps
stuff
it real.
Viewing, his interest in mythology.
Hangs out with Anton LaVey. Still rolls with these cats.
Oh yeah, he was
all
also
Michael Aquino, and it's not an issue, and he does not a pedophile, right? He can, dude.
Yeah,
he's
not
got
really
carte
great.
blanche in every fucking field. Sorry, go ahead, Recluse. Sorry, man. That's a good call. Thank you.
This article says, "Why is Brad Pitt a Renaissance man?"
That is probably, he must be for sticking with that, with whatever Angelina, that girl for however many years. She's fucking mental.
I didn't know Brad Pitt was a Renaissance man.
Exactly, because
I would say it really debases the term to refer to Brad.
yeah, they're going.
Yeah, it really sets the bar
When they-
kind of low.
Yeah, exactly. You know, Time Magazine, or like whoever is playing ping pong,
There's a
jizzing their
There's a
pants
lot of
about-
low set
Blowing it.
bars, so I'm not too surprised.
Yeah.
You're the gymnast over here. Gymnast. See, there you go. GYM, baby.
I've been setting some bars of my own,
Yep.
some standards. I was listening to a
Get
debate
into it, boy.
earlier, and this guy was talking about some of the standards that he has, and failed to mention any of his sources for him, which it would be like what I would lead with, like this is where I'm getting this, and I don't know.
Cite that shit if you feel like it. Yo, I got 5 minutes.
What do you think it was on purpose, so that you would, and then he kind of feathers the rest of his language around it, so that you don't realize that he's not giving a source?
Not sure, because like it was
noticed
something
that.
I think I had heard these terms before, and I remember them being established by like one dude kind of recently. Laws of history, but historical laws, they're kind of hard to determine, which it's there's been quite a few of them listed out. I can't remember the guy's name off the top of my head. I want to name drop him real quick.
Oh shit. Hit low, pick that shit up.
Are you talking from
And,
Babylon?
Yeah, this is why I wanted to name drop him, because his last name is Snooks.
Snooks.
kind of a cool name.
Like that. Is he like Stonks?
That is a
He's
good
into
name.
Stonks too.
Yeah.
He bought all that Blockbuster, baby.
Stonks.
Every Blockbuster. Stonks. Hold the line.
But yeah, like there's laws of science, and so I was curious if there were laws of history, and apparently this guy has outlined quite a few laws of history.
He's writing. He's taking liberties. Would you say?
Like, what do you mean?
We're gonna have to take him out, dude. You can't be taking liberties with the shit. I'm serious. Like you.
No, I think it's a noble effort to try and establish
Buddy, you
laws that we can use for writing history.
I agree.
Certain things that are given and granted. I haven't been able to read his book because it's not online for free, but I do have
Sounds
it
like
on
a
my
grifter.
Amazon wish list.
Sounds like a grifter if you got to put his book on your gift list, bro. I'll buy it for you. How much is it? 16? 18
Nah,
bucks. I
like
got
50
you, bro.
bucks.
That's not my league, dude. I ain't gifting no $50.
$60, 63 for
See,
the
I can do
paperback.
230s for you, bro. Every 15 days or something. All right. So,
Yeah. But no, something I did since I got to get going here in a second, something I did do after the episode on Crow was I set up a article on the website www.ctruth.today on how to volunteer for ctruth. So what you're talking about is I'm kind of making a call to action to better the state of historical studies. I've now got a article that has different ideas that you can do to help volunteer, which is useful because not everybody has spare money, but they do have spare time. And so
if you crypto too right now, you got
yeah,
the wallet
if you can't help out financially, you could help out intellectually through volunteer. So yeah.
That's an excellent idea.
That's
Steven.
why we're all here too. Like seriously, that's the rad thing. Like all of us are just fucking nerds, like research junkies, except for like everybody else that's here.
Yeah. Earlier today, I spent. I listened to this pod. I keep an eye out for Fomenka's new chronology episodes and podcasts and people talking about it. And there was one that was released recently by a couple of stoners. And so I was like, all right, here we go. We got a couple of stoners, you know, they like to drink. They joke around a lot in their podcast. They seem like pretty chill dudes, but they got a ton wrong. And so I sent them a message saying like, hey, this was a while ago. I listened to it once.
Right.
I listened to it once through.
Good.
And I messaged them saying, hey, I noticed that there were some errors in here. If you want, I can let you know what they were. But if you're not interested, like, no worries. Like, I won't bother telling you. But they said, yeah, let us know what we got wrong. And so I went through and as I'm going through, I'm like, damn, like they got a lot more wrong than I remember. And so I fill out this long list, and about halfway through, I was wondering, like, is this really a good use of my time, like, to correct these people? Because these types of people will pop up all the time. And
yeah,
it makes me wonder, too, from an academic standpoint, if that's how academics feel. They're just like, oh, I think this guy got so much stuff wrong, it's not even worth my time to correct him or something like that. But
I'd waste my time even
like, and really, it's not that profitable to do something like that unless it's for study and for practicing criticizing without trying to insult the person, which I think is a good skill to have. It's difficult for me to accept people's criticisms when they're incredibly rude. Like there's
or just they're just not funny or not clever. It's like, at least be clever.
There's this anti-Fomenka project, and it's all about anti-Fomenka's new chronology.
Yeah, play the irony game with it, right?
The guy that runs it, he basically just ridicules the new chronology the whole time, but he brings on other people too that also kind of ridicule it, but they also bring up like occasionally a good point or two, which would be interesting for further discussion. But they're just such an so uncivilized with their rhetoric. You know, it's like, do I really want to engage with this type of person who, like, we're all people trying to figure out what's going on. I mean, for the most part, a lot of us we don't have dubious or sinister intentions. At least maybe not. Maybe I'm living in a false reality where all you guys are, you do have.
We're agency.
And maybe you are. Maybe I am. You know, it's whatever. But as far as I am concerned, I'm willing to grant that people have good intentions and that they really are trying to work out what's going on.
But once we get the vaccine, all bets are off, dude. That's the back door in, dude. Then
once we get the vaccine, we'll all be brainwashed and we can't operate for ourselves.
I'm not even saying that.
They'll control us through 5G with their remote control video games. They'll be like, I'm going to play with David Barsky today. Right. Could do some Grand Theft Auto.
Just wait.
You're like, let's make him puke on himself.
That'd be fun. That's why there's TIs, dude. Come on, let's be realistic.
Yeah,
it's too fun.
So yeah, I still think I'm gonna continue on helping out the guys that don't get much right, because
that's why you're here. Thank you.
An interesting position to be in, and I wish that more people would do that with myself, but I'm led to believe that possibly I'm just not making that many mistakes that people would even speak up about it.
Told you his head was gonna explode, dude. What the fuck, Jim?
It's been a couple years now.
Nobody's stepping up, dude.
There are people that step up, but they're like
cowards.
Wrong. They're wrong about me being wrong, and so it's.
I'm stealing.
Well, you're pretty meticulous.
Yeah, you're surgical, dude.
A lot of people aren't. But they think they are. It's a trip. Yeah, it's
that's
it's
not
weird.
the only reason I like you, man.
It's a learning experience. A lot of people out there.
Word up.
Yeah.
I
So
like people.
I don't know if I've come across anybody really taking it that serious. At least it's approachable, you know.
And I feel irreverent almost being like such a jackass right now. I'm just like stoned and
Well, you got me thinking about this. Spend my whole life studying one thing, you know. But if there are people like that out there and they don't have anything too impressive, then it's like you really spent your whole life studying this, and this is the best you have. Like,
it's delicious. It's so good.
I've only spent a couple years on here, and it would completely debunk some people.
Myself. You guys really pissed. You took the piss on this one, right? Fuck.
So do you get more stuff just straight up off the internet, or do you have to go hunt down in libraries for books? Do you find anything like in
is it IRL?
Random books? You know, anymore?
Nah, like it's all most of my stuff's off the internet, but that's only because there's a lot of books on the internet. And like there's tons of journals on the internet, like stuff that you used to have to go to the library for, or stuff that you used to have to buy to read is now available for, like, if not free, incredibly cheap. But
yeah, I bought some books one time. They were like copies of Heron the Great, stuff that he wrote about how to make automatons and whatnot, but they're all in like French or something. It's like a French translation from Greek. So like I can't read them
French?
anyway. No. Like I'm sure there's a lot of stuff in other languages too that is kind of difficult to access.
For my article I was talking about how to volunteer for ctruth, I have on there help translate important works, because there's so many important works that are only available if you speak a certain language, and it's like there's really not enough people interested in this that literally no one has translated it to English, much less another popular language.
So what do you do? What's the strategy? Have you come across that yet, where you have needed to translate something?
I think David's trying to talk, but his mic is muted.
And I need to stop.
But yeah, no, I luckily there are tools today that allow me, just a monolingual speaker, I only speak English. I can kind of read Italian a little bit here and there, but only within specific areas because I've spent some time trying. But luckily there's tools today that allow me to use the page translate feature. So I can translate entire pages on the internet to English, and I know they're not perfect translations, but they suffice at least to kind of understand some of the stuff that they're talking about. Aside from that, I can rip specific sentences out and throw those through the translators too, and so I usually throw them through Google, Microsoft, and Yandex to see what the variations are, to try and get a better understanding as to how this can be translated differently.
That's a good strategy to go through several, because they can come out like pretty terrible. You know, like we were talking about last week when I read you that card that was just like a common English words that they saw on a card. They put all together into one card, and it just didn't make sense. It read like a cartoon drawing, you know. But I could see that when you get different translations, you can kind of put together something that makes sense.
Yeah, it's better than just having one, but it's not as good as being able to fully comprehend the language as a native speaker, or as even a second language or something.
It seems like there might be opportunities there to, like, you know, copy paste and compile a whole book and republish it in English. sort of. You
I
know,
kind of did that a little bit with a book on volcanoes, because I was spending some time looking into when Vesuvius erupted, and they say it was 79 AD. I've been trying to figure that out. Well, there's a fundamental work that's been cited in like every major study on it, and it's never been translated to English. So I was working on that, and it lists all the sources that we have of Vesuvian eruptions throughout the years, and it's never been translated fully to English.
that'd be kind of cool. I mean, like self-publishing a translation of a book that you could basically just probably copy paste, and then it would be available.
Yeah, kind of copy paste, but there's some editing that has to be done.
Yeah, there's work for sure.
Man,
and just doing it is work. You know,
I'd rather leave that to the people that know how to actually speak and write and read the language,
lexicon,
because who knows how accurate my publication would be. For stuff like Italian to English, that's a little bit, I think, easier. There's not as much error, but for stuff like English to Latin or Latin to English, that's a bit sketchier. And then I think between the languages too, like Russian to English is a little weird sometimes. So
I feel like about 30% of whatever books come out on Amazon right now are just BS books, like where somebody's like, oh, let's see, what category of book is selling a lot of right now? And they say, okay, it's
they have
sports
AI.
medicine, or it's like gardening. So they hire like a ghostwriter who just like Googles a bunch of stuff on gardening, and then they put it together with like a little bit of intro and a little bit of, outro work.
A little bit of human.
No, that's definitely the case. That's a common practice.
Yeah.
It's kind of gross. Like, I don't know.
But think about, I mean, like if you can abuse it that way, they're gonna abuse it in the digital. Like
you might as well be
with like
translating and publishing.
Like, was it this collective intelligence or whatever, those giant fuckers that just suck all that data and then just whatever parse it out, and that they spit it out. It's weird.
In like an AI or something?
Yeah, it's like an AI. But it's like an aggregate. You know what I mean? Like it's just sucking in certain
like Palantir.
Things. Yeah,
just
trying to
searching the entire web for every angle that they can look at this.
How
one
many
thing.
data points can they pin? Yeah, kind of thing. I guess you could look at it that way through that lens. I don't know. It's weird. So creepy. But whatever. I don't choose to.
That would be awesome.
To jerk off to that fear. I don't get off to that. That does not.
You have to assume that it's all going on all the time, as far as surveillance goes. Because, I mean, there's no way we're not walking past cameras we don't know about.
Yeah, but nobody's. Who's looking? Like the third man effect is like diminished exponentially. Then, right? I don't know. That's a fun thought exercise.
I feel like there's a distractibility in television. Like,
downloaded this for a video recently. It's copyright free. I can use it however I want.
Nice. It's fantastic.
Manipulate that.
For some reason, the one that I wanted to use says it's not supported, but this one is, so whatever.
Figures.
It's kind of spacey.
Hating Danish again, dude. They're trying to put us in chains.
The Danish?
Yep.
I like Danishes.
You would. You know nothing about no Kringle. What?
I like
you know nothing about Medista poles.
Maple bars with bacon.
That's yeah. Sounds good.
Or they have those it's like breaded and they put like cheese and ham inside or something. And it's hot.
That's a delight. That sounds like a good.
They make it fresh, Make the dough.
Mm-hmm.
On Saturday morning or something.
Yeah.
That's a treat.
4:15 a.m. All right, we're gonna hit it. Thank you, everybody, for hanging out.
Thank you. Until next time, we're gonna live in your mind.
We're living in your minds. That's what's going down.
We're gonna.
And it just went down. So fucking whatever. I shouldn't be cursing like a jerk like that. But I don't care because whatever. Because this is what Odin's something.
Dilemma.
Well,
All right, bye bye.
Woden's Day.
Yep. We're gonna delete.
I haven't done a show on Woden's Day for a long time since the RX Only Picture Show. Actually,
We live in your minds.
live in your